Welcome to The Real with Joe Clark, where we uncover the stories history tried to forget and some it never could. Today's episode brings us to the rugged hills of eastern Kentucky, where folklore and fact collide in one of Morgan County's most enduring and haunting tales, the Peddler legend. This is the true story of the county's only public execution and the murder that led to it. A young Irish peddler, a desperate farmer, a hollow echoing with gallows cries, and a legend passed down through generations. Let's journey back to 1852. It was a cold morning, December 7th, 1852, when a peddler walked a mountain trail in Morgan County, Kentucky. He was a young Irishman named Morris Haggerty. He carried his goods slung on a stick across his back, unaware that he was walking straight into Appalachian history. He passed through Crockett, Kentucky, and then the home of John Disha and Priscilla Nickel. His last known stop was near the farm of William H. Brown. Brown was a heavy-set man in his 20s, strong, quiet, unmotivated. He lived close to poverty despite owning land and having a wife, Margaret, who was pregnant at the time. The rumor? Brown had heard the peddler was traveling with several $100s, enough to tempt any man. And Brown, it seems, gave in. Hidden beneath a chestnut root near the narrow pass that would come to be known as Peddler's Gap, Brown waited, musket in hand, asleep from drink. A startled bird woke him, and when the peddler came into view, Brown pulled the trigger. The shot struck near the heart. Some say the peddler was still alive when Brown struck again with his rifle. Others say he was already gone when Brown rifled through his belongings, robbed him, and dragged his body into a hollow. Then Brown did something chilling. He allegedly began selling the dead man's goods, perhaps even impersonating him. But rumors travel fast in the hills, and soon so did suspicion. Brown vanished. Stories said he went north to Greenup County, maybe even across the river to Portsmouth, Ohio. But the net was closing. According to oral tradition, he was captured while visiting relatives. Whether he surrendered or was hunted down is unknown, but he was soon in custody. Court records, family stories, and even a so-called confession all pointed to Brown, but they also hinted at something deeper. Conspirators, manipulators, a robbery planned by others perhaps. His in-laws, the Williams family, were accused in hushed tones and family whispers. Some said Brown was tricked into ambushing the peddler, drunk and manipulated. The peddler's body, meanwhile, was discovered by hunters, members of that same Williams family. The evidence? Linens linked to the peddler, a musket ball removed from his chest, and Brown's own boast at a corn shucking, quote, "I killed a buck," unquote. Some believe he wasn't talking about a deer. Sheriff William Manier took charge of the case. Brown was jailed and briefly escaped, but his freedom didn't last. Neither would his life. It is now April 1853 in West Liberty, Kentucky. The circuit court convened for Brown's trial. A jury was selected, testimonies were heard, but when the verdict was due, they were hung. No verdict. It was declared a mistrial. Still, the mood in Morgan County turned dark. Authorities feared a mob. A 6-man guard was assigned to protect the jail, and when Brown's second trial came in October, it felt more like theater than justice. The defense tried. They questioned the evidence. They cast doubt on bullet comparisons. They challenged inconsistent testimony. But the prosecution had momentum, and the jury returned with one word: guilty. The sentence? Death by hanging, scheduled for December 9th, 1853. Judge J. W. Moore declared it in a chilling repetition. Brown was to be hanged, quote, until he be dead, 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 unquote. The place, Gallows Hollow. At least that's what they called it afterward. The place where William H. Brown met his end. December 9th, 1853, Brown was loaded into a wagon. Some say he rode atop his own coffin. His executioners, Sheriff Manier, and a wagon driver named William Walsh. Ministers rode with them to pray. Brown was said to be calm. Some claimed he repented. Others questioned whether his eloquent final words were really his or written by someone else. Either way, the end came quickly. The rope tightened. A snap. A body swung. One boy, hiding in a bush to watch, nearly fainted from the sight. Another cried out in horror. Brown's relatives collected the body. They were drunk, some say. On the way back, the coffin fell off the wagon and had to be retrieved. Brown was buried near Trace Branch, close to the scene of the crime. The grave is unmarked today, but local families still remember exactly where it is. The legend did not end at the grave. Children used to visit the Peddler's burial site on what's now called Peddler Street. They'd knock on the grave and ask, quote, "What are you doing down there?" unquote. The silence that followed was always the punchline. In the 1950s, that forgotten grave was accidentally disturbed during a sewage project. The discovery rekindled interest. Photos were taken. A single tooth, yes, just one tooth, was preserved. That tooth was analyzed by a top forensic specialist and confirmed to belong to a young white male in his 20s or 30s, just like the peddler. The story inspired songs, articles, and Joe Nichols' groundbreaking research in the 1980s. With his father's help, Nichol unearthed a gallows pamphlet, a courtroom speech, and dozens of oral histories. Thanks to him and to the families who remembered, the tale didn't vanish to time. In Morgan County, Kentucky, the hills hold stories. Some of them are whispered, some are sung, and some, like this one, hang heavy in the silence between truth and legend. Thanks for joining me for this edition of The Real with Joe Clark. If you like this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend. And remember, some legends don't die, they just wait to be retold. Until next time, I'm Joe Clark, and this has been The Real.